How's it going, everyone? We've got a big update on Final Fantasy XVI coming from Yoshi P from the Nier Reincarnation stream. Thank you to Itaki Mochi over on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description box below for the translation. Final Fantasy XVI news by Yoshi P from the Nier Reincarnation stream. The trailer is done. Certain factors caused the announcement to be delayed, but it should drop soon. Dev team spent a long time polishing and debugging the game. The game is pretty much complete. Now, certain factors, I don't know if that's anything related to the acquisition talks, but just my personal opinion, if there was going to be a major acquisition, I would think you would want that to go through and announced, and then you would drop the trailer, because this is like the biggest game Square Enix is putting out. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what those certain factors are. It could have just been, you know, timing issues. It could be like somebody relayed to Square Enix that, hey, there's a big event coming up here, and we can reveal the trailer there, and it'll get a lot more eyes. Let's say the Summer Game Fest. Let's say Sony is doing an event that has really come together over the last couple of weeks, and they have a time frame for it in place, and they were like, hey, let's wait until that event. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that. The game being pretty much complete is kind of wild. I still think that Square Enix, it would be very, very detrimental to them to release this game this fall, just because, again, why compete with yourself with Forspoken? You could just say, you know, maybe those games target a different audience, but do they? Like, I think a lot of people that want to play Final Fantasy XVI also have some vested interest in Forspoken, but I think for the majority of people, like, Final Fantasy is the established IP. You're gonna go with Final Fantasy XVI if you're gonna pick up one of those games. If you're a Square Enix fan, you're probably going to check out FF16 over Forspoken. It makes more sense for Forspoken to come out in a period where there's not a lot of stuff coming out, just because it's a brand new IP. It's a game that, you know, based on looking at social media and my comment section, that people are a little bit on the fence about, and it's a full $70. Like, that's a steep price to pay when there's a lot of other games coming out, so that's something to consider as well. I have thrown out the idea of, hey, if FF16's ready to go, why not drop it this fall, and then Forspoken, push that back to spring? Like, I don't think that's a big issue, and the spring you would think would be a little bit more of a quiet period for new game releases versus the fall. That's just what I think. But a lot of you guys were like, bro, they already delayed the game once. Delaying the game again would be a cause for concern, and I can definitely understand that. When games see, like, multiple lengthy delays, that's definitely a cause for concern. Don't get it twisted. I agree with you guys on that point, but, yeah, if the game is pretty much complete, you would think that a fall release isn't out of the question. And hey, maybe I'm making too big of a deal of Final Fantasy XVI and Forspoken coming out around the same time, and, you know, they'll both do relatively well. I am just scarred forever from the Titanfall 2 travesty that it was when that game came out right around the time of Battlefield 1, EA's own release, and then also, obviously, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was coming out around the time. I think Overwatch had come out a few months prior, and it was just the fall time, and there was a ton of stuff coming out, so that was a train wreck for Titanfall 2, and that game unfortunately commercially underdelivered when that game was fantastic. So I just don't want the same issue to happen with Forspoken, especially when it's a new IP. They're clearly investing a ton into it. Why compete with yourself? That's just my 2 cents on that. As far as Final Fantasy XVI goes, bro, this game looks fantastic to me. Based on, like, what I've read on the website and the lore behind it, that seems incredibly interesting. Visually, the game looks stunning. The gameplay looks great. I really just hope from a narrative standpoint they can execute a high-quality narrative around through the entire game. But again, given the Final Fantasy XIV team is helping with this, that makes me very, very, you know, optimistic in regards to this game. You guys know me, I'm usually pessimistic when it comes to anything with gaming, but Final Fantasy XVI in that case, I am cautiously optimistic with it, and my pessimism just comes from keep your expectations low, and if they over-deliver, hey, that's a great thing. But yeah, FF16 would be a great title to see this fall. If it comes out in the spring, hey, that means you have a heavy hitter ready to go for 2023. Is that the worst thing in the world? Absolutely not. If you can get this out February, March, Sony usually likes to have a big exclusive around that February, March, April period. You look at God of War 2018, Days Gone. Your mileage may vary on how big you consider Days Gone, but I think Detroit Become Human also came out around that time. Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn came out around that same time. So That would be a pretty nice early 2023 game, and usually they like to have one big spring exclusive and then one big fall exclusive. This year, the spring exclusive or the early 2022 exclusive was Horizon. The fall exclusive is going to be God of War. We still don't really have an idea what that early 2023 exclusive is going to be for PlayStation. Final Fantasy 16 would fit that bill pretty freaking nicely, so that's my 2 cents on that. Definitely interested to hear what you guys think. Definitely sound off with your excitement level for FF16. I know some of the Final Fantasy games recently, especially, you know, the number ones, like outside of the 7 remake, 15 had a mixed reception. 13 I really enjoyed, but if you think that had anything beyond a mixed reception, you're kidding yourself. And the subsequent follow-up titles I was not high on. 13-2 and Lightning Returns, I was not a big fan of those. And then 12, even, like, 12, now we're going back to 2006, like, who cares what people thought back then, but, 2000, back then, like, Final Fantasy 12 definitely did have a mixed reception. That perception has kind of changed over the past couple of years as the Zodiac Age came out, and people look back at 12, I think, pretty fondly, and obviously 10 was revered, but now we're going back to 2001. Why are we doing this? But, yeah, hopefully we see this update for FF16. I imagine that it's gonna come at one of these big summertime events, because that would be a huge thing to show off at a Summer Game Fest, at a Sony summertime event, and you can really build upon that, and you're gonna have a huge audience already watching, and that'll really get the excitement level ready for FF16. And I imagine with the big info drop, with this next trailer, we're gonna get that release date, or at the very, very least, a release window, but I'm cautiously optimistic for a release date as well with the next major update. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.